Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to show you some quick tips on how you can start preparing for the holiday right now. But before we get into that, consider giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell so you never miss out when I upload new content. So let's talk about how we prepare for the holidays. So, for one, upcoming holiday is Thanksgiving, right? For those of you who celebrate it, if not, if you just want to prepare for whatever's coming up, right? These are some tips that will get you through. What I will say is one way to prevent the overwhelm is to prepare. Um, I don't know if I ever mentioned this on this station on this I guess one of my videos I did mention mise en place. And this is how we prepare, getting everything in place. And it's just something that I live by. Make sure you are prepared. So getting ready for the holidays now is just mise en place on steroids, right? We want to prepare everything, getting our ingredients, our supplies, our tools, everything that we need to have a smooth baking experience or cooking experience during the holidays. Number one, we want to create a plan. The way we create a plan is to number one, figure out what we want to make. So this is good not just for baking, but just in cooking in general. If you're cooking, if you're baking, whatever you're doing for the holiday, figure out what's on your menu. Think of the things that's on your menu and then start to think of the things that you can make now. You can prep for now. I'll give you an example, macaroni and cheese. You could at least get the cheese and grate the cheese. Actually, depending on how you make your macaroni, there's like a million different ways to make it. I don't know one person who makes it the same as the other person. You can actually make up your macaroni and cheese, and just don't bake it and stick it in a freezer. So create a plan. Create a plan on what you're making, when you plan on baking the stuff, when you're gonna go shopping. So you need a game plan, and figuring out what's on your menu is, I think, the most important thing. Once you figure out what's on your menu, you want to figure out if you have all the ingredients that you have. So start creating your shopping list, and not just for your ingredients, also for your um, supplies, right? What supplies do you need? For me, if I'm baking pies, I need to make sure that I have my aluminum pans. Do you have everything that you are going to need? Do you have your pie pans? Do you have your cake boards? Do you have everything that you are going to need? So just keep that in mind, but you start now. Come November, it can be overwhelming. I don't like to deal with all the crowds. I want to make sure I have everything. November, I promise you, a lot of the stuff is going to be picked over. So now that you have figured out what you're going to make, start thinking about the stuff, right? This is the next thing we're going to do is start thinking about what we can prep now, what we can prep now. So I will tell you, macaroni and cheese is just one. If you're baking, um, if you are baking your pies, you can definitely make pie crust ahead of time. And not only just make pie crust. For me, I like to shape my pie crust. So if I let's just say I'm baking 10 pies, let's just say, I'm gonna shape my pies, right? You buy frozen pie crust in the store already shaped in a pan. So why can't we do the same? So that is simply rolling out your dough, um, and pick a day for it, right? Roll out your dough, uh shape it into the pan, right? Literally crimp the sides or however you're gonna do it, and sticking it in the freezer. But what I like to do is maybe like take 3 of them. I actually have a wrap machine. So, but in each pie crust, the way you find it in the store, I stick a piece of parchment paper in between, stick the other pie crust that I've already prepped, and I do 3 of those, and then I shrink wrap those and stick them in the freezer. So when it's time to bake, because as you know, your pie crust should be nice and cold anyway when you put it in the oven. So it's just a matter of popping it out the freezer, and that's going to save you so much time. So prep your pie crust. Um, Third thing that you can do is make your icings ahead of time. If you are making cakes, don't wait till the last day to make your icings. Make your icings. Your icings can stay in the freezer, and you just let them come to room temperature, and you should re-whip your icings. If your icing sits in the refrigerator over a day, I always recommend that you re-whip your icing to bring it back to the nice light and airy consistency. Baking cakes. Some cakes you can bake ahead of time. I would not bake all cakes ahead of time. I wouldn't bake a pound cake ahead of time, but you can bake ahead of time. Cakes I would bake ahead of time are cakes that have an oil base. And I would determine how long. I don't want my cake sitting in the freezer for a month, right? But maybe 2 weeks, right? And what you can do is actually, before you ice the cake, just kind of do a crumb coat on the icing. And a crumb coat is just a really thin layer of your 2 layer or 3 layer cake, so it absorbs the crumbs. You can stick it in the freezer like that. And maybe the week of the holiday of Thanksgiving, you can actually ice that cake. Lastly, I would say is to create a schedule, like a bake schedule, a cook schedule, but a schedule for that week of the holiday. A schedule for the week of the holiday. So if you're going to uh I don't know, let's do a quick menu for Thanksgiving. Turkey. For me, I actually create soak my turkey in a brine. So I need a few days. I can't just wake up and say I'm gonna season the turkey on Thursday or even the night before. I need my turkey to soak from Monday to Tuesday. Then Tuesday to Wednesday, I need to let that turkey sit in the seasoning. So I definitely need to make sure my brine is together, my turkey is clean. Um, so that's all that. Macaroni and cheese, we can definitely do ahead of time. If you're making your collard greens, who's cutting up the greens? Get some help. Get some help. Get somebody to cut up those collard greens. Um, Collard greens can definitely be made ahead of time in terms of just cutting them up. Cutting them up, and you could actually just kind of cook them halfway and maybe stick those in the freezer. That's something to think about. Um, what else can you make ahead of time? If you're gonna do candied yams, depending on how you make them, you can actually cut them up now, and I actually peel mines and cut them up. You can actually do that ahead of time and stick that in the freezer. So when it's time to make them, you can just pop them in the water, let them boil a little. But again, I know a lot of people cook their candied yams differently. So, um, I think that is it. Lastly, I will say you want to clear your space. I don't know what number that is. I'm up to. I feel like I'm up to number maybe 3 or 4. But lastly, you want to make sure your space is cleared the week of baking, because I know for me stuff is everywhere. And depending on the space that you have, you may want to create some space where you have all your tools, or your you want to clear off the stuff off your counter that you are not normally, that you won't need for the holidays, right? Take the coffee makers off the counter. Take stuff that you wouldn't normally use or that's taking up space, because just being organized is really key when it comes to prepping for the holidays. So that's it, guys. My quick tips on how to prepare for the holidays now. Um, and let me know. I'm actually giving a training on how to bake pies from scratch. If that's something that you're interested in, I will just leave pin the comment and send you the link to, if you want to register for um my bake along, how to make we are making apple pies and pecan pies. So that is something that can be done ahead of time. That's prep work. So that is happening October 19th and 20th, that weekend. But if you want more information, I will definitely put the link in the comment section. That's it, guys. That's my quick tips on how to prepare for the holiday. If there's a way that you prepare that I didn't mention, let me know about it in the comment section. Again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out when I upload new content. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.